Welcome back to My Dad Watches The Bachelor. I'm Meredith, and I'm here with my co-host, my dad.
Hey, Meredith, how's it going?
It's going well. I got to watch an awesome episode of The Bachelorette last night, so I'm feeling good.
Did you really find that episode to be awesome?
Well, I quite enjoyed the spicing it up of two bachelorettes, even though they talked about it the whole episode. Two bachelorettes. I enjoyed it. I'm like that we have something new to look forward to.
Okay. Well, I was getting a little tired of their banter and chit chat and how wonderful this is to go into this process together. But hopefully it'll grow on me.
There was a little too much wooing coming from Rachel and Gabby. They kept wooing a lot. But it calmed down as the episode went in. And I loved, like, night one, the check-in with each other. Like, oh, who have you talked to? Who have you talked to? Oh, I kissed him. Oh, my gosh, I'm obsessed with him. Like, I thought that was fun. I liked the girl talk.
Yeah, it was a little strange at first when they were talking to the bachelors together. That was really awkward, I thought. And it seemed to improve once they split up.
Yeah, it was definitely uncomfortable. I was wondering if they thought they had to stay together all night, and I just didn't think that was going to go well.
Well, what I do like about them is they seem to be making their own rules as they go, and I'm all for girl power or young lady power, whatever the appropriate terminology is.
Feminist?
Okay, that's good too.
All right, so shall we get into some of the highs of the episode?
Let's do it, yes.
My first one is just like an overall high of seeing Gabby and Grandpa John back on my TV. I love them.
Yeah, Grandpa John is good. I think we decided he should have his own show.
He should be the old bachelor.
And we have the threatening menace of Rachel's father. What's his name again?
Big Tony.
Big Tony, who's there to scare the hell out of any bachelors that are going to eventually show up on his doorstep. I wonder what Big Tony thought about this. Oh, great. We just went through this and now you're the bachelorette. I don't think Big Tony's a happy Big Tony.
I think Big Tony's probably in Florida buying more guns to prepare.
What a happy thought.
So, the first night is kind of hectic. We don't know who these guys are. A lot of limo entrances, a lot of random conversations. A limo entrance that I enjoyed, Logan. He was practicing hanging out with two cute chicks. And he had little baby chickens in his hands. And they were just so cute. I thought that was funny. And I thought it was funny that Gabby thought they were rats.
Yeah, I put that one on my lowlights, actually, because, walking in with two little chicks, rats, whatever, it just felt weird to me. And then toward the end of the night, they were gone. And I just kept thinking, he killed the chicks.
He said they got drunk. He had to call them a cab, send them home. They're not dead. They're sleeping.
I think that he got tired after a while and he just sort of mashed them and threw them in the garbage because, who wants to spend the whole night carrying little chicks around?
Maybe Blanco, the horse, ate them.
And then, yeah, okay, well, Blanco certainly made an impression as well.
Okay, another high for me. Ryan, the oldest guy on our season, I think he's 36. He likes the Botox, if you remember. Him teaching Gabby how to speak Boston. I thought that was really funny. They had some good banter going on. He called her Gabber and told her to shush because she wasn't paying attention to the lesson. I thought they had a good connection.
I like that, but isn't he the one that came in with the clown nose and hair?
I don't remember. It's possible.
I think he did, which sort of turned me off a bit. I'm pretty sure it was Ryan. I made note of it. I was trying to find highlights on the first impressions coming out of the limo. I found more lowlights than highlights, and Ryan came in with a clown nose and clown hair, and I think was.
You're talking about how Clayton was a clown?
Yeah, there was way too much Clayton banter, and that was bugging the ladies.
Yeah. A good conversation was with Tino and Rachel. He took her back to the stairs because we do know that's where she sobbed a lot when Clayton told them that he was in love with all of them and slept with all of them. And Rachel cried on the stairs for a full 24 hours. So he took her back to the stairs since she had a troubled past with them and wanted to give her a better memory. And he kissed her. And I thought that was sweet. It was a good recall to last season, but a good way to start off the new season. And Rachel seems very into Tino.
And I had him as a highlight for his initial impression when he came in, and he did get the initial impression rose. I guess a combination of making a good first impression when he came in on his forklift. Told the ladies that he was very good with his hands. Okay, that was good, but
they looked forking gorgeous.
But he seemed to have he didn't come off as creepy. I thought he came off as pleasant, fun. And obviously, Rachel enjoyed meeting him there on the stairs. So, I had Tino. He made my highlights. Just good overall first impression with him.
Good top 4 pick for Meredith.
Good top 4 pick, yes.
My last high, I enjoyed Eric and Gabby talking about her fake hair and mullets. I thought that was funny. She's like, "Oh, I look beautiful. I have a fake tan, fake hair. Everything on me's fake."
Yeah, that seemed to go well. I mean, Eric, I think you and I both picked Eric in the Final Four. And that conversation seemed to be starting off weird, where it seemed like Eric was sort of lying on top of her or whatnot. And he at first didn't seem to have much to say. I thought he was a little bit boring. But they seemed to have a good banter back and forth.
We both actually picked Eric to win for Gabby.
Okay.
And I'm a little concerned about our pick. I put this in the lows that I was worried about Eric because he has a good connection with both Gabby and Rachel. But then towards the end, when he didn't get a first impression rose from either, he really started to get a little too cocky and was kind of being an asshole. Like he deserved a first impression rose from one of them. I didn't love that side of him.
Does he have villain potential?
I don't know. He could be like a late season villain maybe. But, I would be willing to let you pick a new villain since yours are gone.
Well, the thing that I think Eric needs to worry about is he seems to have a good connection with both ladies, which I fear could bite him in the butt at some point in time. And I think he kissed Gabby. Mm-hmm. I think he could have kissed Rachel, but he sort of pulled back and didn't, which was probably smart on his part.
I agree. I think it would have been a bad look to make out with both of them night one.
Because I think they're going to be talking throughout this whole thing and comparing notes. So, if you're trading spit with both ladies, I think that's going to be a problem.
Of course, I agree. I think that Logan, our cute chicks boy, could have a similar issue. It seemed like he had a good connection with both of them. I feel like those were maybe the only 2 guys we saw that got to speak to both of them.
Yeah, you might be right. Well, so as far as highlights, number one, I was impressed. Gabby looks like she's at least half a foot taller than Rachel. I don't know if Rachel is short or Gabby is tall, but I was really struck that Gabby seemed to tower over her. I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing. It was just an observation that I made. So
I think that it's both true that Gabby is tall and Rachel is short.
Other highlights I had, I thought Avon made a good first impression. I think Avon is also one of your picks. I sort of liked
my Rachel winner pick.
Okay, I liked. He seemed to have a good rapport there, and he wasn't over the top. He seemed sensitive, nice, safe. So I liked Avon. I'm a dad. I liked Avon.
I like him as well.
I sort of like the fact that Spencer provided them with chairs to sit down when he came out of the limo. He brought them folding chairs because they're going to be out there standing, I assume, in high heels the whole night. At some point, I would think they'd get tired. I thought that was a good move by Spencer. I like that. But I also did notice, I think when he came out and they introduced him, he was Spencer, the grad student. And I think I went back and checked the initial bio. He used to be a venture capitalist. So I'm wondering what happened there. So,
wow, good catch.
Yeah, so just something to be thinking about. I thought Hayden, I think it's Hayden from Florida, I thought he made a very good first impression with Rachel. He's trying to play the Florida connection. He had a birthday card for her. I thought that was pretty good on his part.
I thought it was sweet. I'm trying to think of like the right way to say this. I'm not sure that Hayden is straight.
Okay, well, I did not pick up on that, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, Colton was the Bachelor. Crazier things have happened.
Okay. And I guess the final highlight is I'm not a big Jesse Palmer fan. I just find him to be too smug.
That's a highlight?
Well, at the end, if you watch the very end when the credits were rolling and he had to clean up horse poop left by Blanco, that made me happy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was my highlight.
It's a little petty, but that's fine.
Okay.
Let's move to our lows. My first one, Jason. I don't remember anything about him, but I wrote his name, Jason, having something in common with Clayton. This was his limo entrance. He's in love with 3 women. His mom, his sister, and his dog. It was very cringy. I don't think you should say that you're in love with any of those people/animals. It's kind of weird to say, oh, I'm in love with my sister.
You can say you love your sister, but I don't think you're supposed to say you're in love with your sister.
Yeah, like I knew what he was trying to do. His execution, not great. Another bad limo entrance, Quincy, who apparently goes by Prince, talking about how he hasn't had sex in a year and a half because he's very intentional. And I thought it was funny that Gabby and Rachel were like, yeah, I can't relate, because we know that both of them did sleep with Clayton in the fantasy suite.
He was on my low light list as well. And Quincy is a life coach. I would just think that a life coach would be a little bit more thoughtful than Quincy was there and his approach. And that's, bragging that he hasn't had sex for a year and a half just because he's so intentional, I found to be somewhat of a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's a no for me. Next, first off, Roby. Didn't know that's how you pronounced his name. Thought it was Robbie. That threw me for a loop. But we got some magic tricks from good old Roby.
Yeah, and I really whiffed on the whole villain thing in that I considered Roby just because of my Scooby-Doo background, knowing that magicians are often the villain. But Roby made my low light list, but I guess this morning I woke up almost feeling bad for Roby in that he has this disheveled look of, I'm not that popular a person, so maybe I'll learn how to do magic tricks and people will like me sort of look. And I worry that he doesn't have a good social life.
Well, I've seen that his sister is a famous actress. I don't remember her name. I didn't recognize her name. But apparently he is like celebrity world adjacent already, so he's probably okay.
Okay. Well,
I saw a picture of him on a red carpet with her, so he's probably doing all right.
Okay. Well, that's good because he
he had a haircut on the red carpet. He looked much better.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like the guy from high school who really had no clue of how to actually present himself. I don't know. I fear I can relate to him, but although I've never learned any magic tricks, but yeah, I had him on the low light list, but I found myself feeling a little bad for him.
Okay, what other lows do you have? So that's all I've got.
I was not a big fan of Jacob showing up topless, oiled up on the horse, saying that he's only here for a happy ending.
I think that joke went over Rachel's head. I don't think she got it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
She said, yeah, me too.
Yeah. I guess maybe if I had his physique, I'd walk around topless as well. But I just think when you're going to the first night, maybe you should leave a little mystery there and not show off all the goods yet.
Yeah, but we did get to see Gabby having a conversation with him, and then in her interview talking about how she couldn't stop staring at his rock hard pecs and then going cross-eyed.
Yeah, she seemed to be ready to drool all over him. Coach Kirk, I'm not thinking that he's going to be around too long. I mean, he's trying to pump up the boys and let's go get them, and I'm just not sure that's going to last too long.
Did you recognize the speech he was giving Gabby and Rachel when he walked out of the limo?
I don't know. Should I have recognized it?
Well, Twitter told me this. I would never have known on my own. Twitter told me that it was a speech from Miracle, that hockey movie that my brother used to like when we were growing up.
That's a great movie.
Okay.
I recommend that movie as well, but I did not make that connection, and that still doesn't help me with Coach Kirk. I'm still not a fan.
No, not a fan either.
And as much as I hate to say it, low light, the Twins were just so boring. They were awful, and I thought they would be up to mischief. They were just in over their heads. They got the early tickets home appropriately. Disappointed in the Twins.
Yeah, I don't have many good things to say about the Twins. I did think that they would last a little bit longer, but their exit was hilarious to me. I couldn't stop laughing.
What was so funny about it was, hey, come on now. The three people that I considered as villains, the two twins and the magicians, you three need to leave now. Yeah, it's like, sorry.
Well, it's just sad, It's like we're not actually going to send anyone home because we don't feel like we got enough time with these people. But we both got enough time with you, and we know there's nothing there. And instead of just doing a normal rose ceremony and sending those three boys home, not giving them roses, they just call them out like, hey, Joey, Justin, Roby, hit the road. It was so funny.
I find myself smiling at the name Roby as opposed to Robbie. It was Roby, so you and I both assumed that his name is Robbie, but he goes by Roby.
Well, I was talking to my roommate while I was watching the show, and I was like, how am I going to remember to pronounce his name as Roby? And then it's not really a problem after today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about all I've got for lowlights.
Well, okay, let's go into the right reasons, because I'm giving mine to Avon, my Rachel winner pick. He just seemed like such a nice guy to me. He really stuck out, very genuine. His limo entrance was cute. He talked to both of them individually, saying he wanted to treat both of them right. For Grandpa John and Big Tony, he knew that they were watching. He had a good conversation with Rachel about how it's hard for him to open up, but he wants to try, even though it's on this tight timeline, which is like a little eye-rolly, but it works on The Bachelorette. And he just seems like a good guy. He's here for the right reasons. I get good energy from him.
Yeah, I liked him as well. I think that's a good choice. For right reason, I'm giving it to Gabby and Rachel because they got to this rose ceremony. They're a bunch of guys they really didn't get to talk to. This is their show. They're going to make some rules and said, hey, we want to do this a little bit differently. We're not doing the rose ceremony. We'll ditch a few of these loser guys, but we want to keep the rest of them and give them a real chance. And I think that was a very appropriate and nice thing to do. I wish we would have seen other people do that. We've watched this silly show for many seasons now, and we know that there are always some guys that, for whatever reason, don't get any face time the first night. They're going home. Maybe they'll be great guys. Who knows? Or great girls. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's how we got Grocery Store Joe. You don't know who that is, but he got engaged in Paradise last year, and he was a first night boot.
Okay. So anyway, kudos to them for saying, hey, didn't get a chance to meet all the guys. It would be wrong to send them home. Let's throw a curveball here. What's poor Jesse going to do? Go with the flow, Jesse.
Well, speaking of Jesse, you're going to like my wrong reason, because that's who it is. It's Jesse Palmer. I had issues with how much he was asking Gabby and Rachel, like, how do you think this is going to work? Like, how is this season going to work? It's not up to them to figure out how this works. Like, they're here to find love and meet all these guys. Like, Jesse, stop asking them how this is going to work. They have no idea how it's going to work. You and the producers need to figure out how we're going to make all of this work and then tell them. They've got enough on their plate, and it really bothered me.
It would be nice, and I think Jesse at one point came up to him and said, here's what's going to happen tonight. You're going to get first impression roses to give out. Well, that happens every time, Jesse. We sort of assumed that was the case.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Can you tell me something else?
Yeah, it's like you're not really giving us any clues on how the rose ceremony might go. Do I get 10 roses? Does she get 10 roses? How is this going to work? We don't know. So that would have been useful information to share with the ladies at that point.
Yeah, Jesse has not been very helpful so far. And then, it makes me wish, like, what would this season look like with Tasha and Caitlin back co-hosting together? And we'd have four girls just having so much fun.
I was thinking Chris Harrison, but okay.
No, gone. Bring back Tasha and Caitlin.
Do we know anything about where Chris Harrison, what's his whereabouts? Is he like on his own island somewhere or what?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he got a very nice payout. And maybe he'll write a tell-all book at some point.
Okay. Well, for my wrong reason, I grappled with two of them, and maybe I should have brought this up during Lowlights. I really felt the whole we're besties between Gabby and Rachel was a little too fake for me. A little too over the top. We're hugging. We're the Bachelorettes. We're going through this together. Oh, too much screaming and giggling. It felt fake to me. But ultimately, I will give the wrong reason to the Bachelor producers for bringing these twins on the show. There was really no reason to bring twins on the show other than the fact of, oh, they're twins, and they brought nothing. They weren't interesting twins. They were just twins. They did no research. They did nothing. They just want to throw some twins out there. So I'm giving the producers or the recruiters, whoever makes these decisions, wrong reason, poor choosing there.
Yeah, there's got to be a better set of twins out there that, someone could actually be interested in. It's not 24. Like, why would Gabby be interested in a 24-year-old twin?
Well, I mean, there could be some 24-year-old twins that are interesting that have had a little bit of life experience. Man, these guys.
They went to the same college together, but they didn't room together. They don't work for the same company, but they do the same job.
And they have same hobbies. It was awful. Anyway.
But one of them's more laid back.
But we don't know which is which. So anyway, glad
that we don't need to know which is which.
We don't. So
sayonara to the twins. I hope to not see you in paradise.
So just for the record, I got one first impression rose correct. I chose Mario getting a first impression rose from Gabby, which he did.
I didn't like that.
That I got it right, or that
no,
Gabby.
I thought I would like Mario. He's got a really nice smile, but something about him I'm not enjoying. I don't know. Like, the conversation with Gabby to me didn't seem like it went that well. And their first kiss was uncomfortable. It was not a good looking kiss.
I agree with you. I was surprised that Mario was her pick. I thought it could have been Eric. I thought it could have been somebody else. I don't know, but chalk one up for the dad.
Yeah, good job, Dad.
And the other Tina was Rachel's first impression rose, not your first impression rose pick, but one of your final four picks.
Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling pretty good about my final four right now. I've got Eric, I've got Tino, I've got Aven.
Yeah, and I've got Mario, I've got Eric. Zach, who was one of the people that I don't think got any FaceTime with either of them. He sort of looked like a werewolf to me, with his little shabby beard. I was a little concerned. If they had a rose ceremony, I think Zach might have been hitting the highway. So I'm glad that the ladies decided to let everyone else stay around for a while.
And in the preview, I believe it's Zach that Jesse Palmer is talking to, where he's like, I've got to tell her the truth. And he's like crying. So he must make it a decent way to be crying over something.
It would appear that way. And then in the previews, we're getting a lot of this roses being turned down by bachelors because
Rachel's roses being turned down.
Yeah, because they're here for Gabby. So this is.
Oh, if Meatball turned down my rose, I would die of embarrassment.
Well, it sounds like Rachel's about to die from embarrassment.
Because, she didn't really want Meatball. He's just a space filler. And then her space filler's like, nah, not interested.
Yeah. Well, who is your MVP for this week?
my MVP I have two, Gabby and Rachel, co-bachelorettes, co-MVPs. I liked seeing their friendship, how supportive they are of each other. I think it's really awesome seeing it, considering like I was worried, people were worried about them getting pitted against each other. And I think it's important that they're showing that they're like a strong, united front. Even though it's going to get messy, it looks like they aren't ever fighting with each other. They're more upset with like the men in the situation. And I thought it was absolutely savage watching them single out Roby and the twins and send them home instead of handing out roses. I just thought it was hilarious.
Okay. Well, we'll see how buddy they are as they go through this process, because I do think at some point there will be some conflicts with we like the same guy. Hopefully they'll figure this out.
Well, they do still seem to be friends now, so I'm sure it does work out. Or they're just pretty good actresses.
Okay.
Do you have any fatherly advice to wrap us up?
A couple things. So, and I'll be interested in your thoughts on this. You know, that I thought it was very appropriate that Tino and Eric asked permission to kiss the ladies, as opposed.
Don't like it.
Okay, I'm old fashioned. I don't want any guy just grabbing my daughter and start making out with her. I think it's got to, there needs to be some permission in there.
I think that, if you're a normal person and can read social cues, you know when it's appropriate.
Well, Rachel seemed disappointed a couple times that she didn't get a kiss from some of the bachelors, and I just found it to be a rather awkward thing. But I will say, and I'll throw this to you, there seems to be a very big difference when it's a bachelor like Clayton, who seemed to have no qualms in just making out with everyone, probably on the first night, versus the bachelorettes who seem to have to wait for guys to make the move.
Well, it seemed like Gabby wanted to make out with a lot of people.
But she wasn't making the first move.
Yeah, but to be fair, like it's a different scenario. Like you don't want to make out with everyone, because then what if, that was someone I'm not really that into, but Rachel is into? Like you don't want to, start any drama there that's unnecessary.
Okay. So as we mentioned at the end of the program, we're supposed to have a rose ceremony, but Gabby and Rachel say, no, we're not going to do it this way. It's our show. So, fatherly advice, don't let the guys make the rules. Now, you're a strong, independent woman. You make the rules. I respect that. So way to go, Gabby and Rachel, deserving of your MVP. And my final advice, it always bothers me that when we go to these rose parties, the sun is coming up at the end of them. God knows what time it is. And what we've been doing this all night long for hours and hours. And now it's 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning.
And some of these guys still didn't have time to talk to them. That makes no sense to me.
So, the rule when I was growing up used to be that nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Now the rule really is nothing good happens after midnight. You need to be going to bed by midnight. Now I'm quickly getting to nothing good is going to happen after 11 o'clock at night. I'm not there yet, but I'm heading in that direction. But, we need to have some rules out there. Nothing good really happens after midnight. You guys need to be home safely in bed.
Okay.
By yourself.
Each their own. I'm not much of a night owl, so I also like to be in bed by midnight. But okay. I don't think I would do well on the first night of The Bachelorette. I would need a nap break.
I suspect that you would. That's why you don't need to go on that show.
Yes, don't worry, Dad. Then how could I podcast if I was on it?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we'd like to thank The Mesh for hosting our podcast. And if you like what you're hearing, feel free to give us a 5-star rating and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And join us next week as we discuss the first dates of Gabby and Rachel's season from the right perspective and my dad's.